Welcome everybody to the Git Bit Podcast, the podcast for nerds, for nerds. If you have a fandom, you are certainly most welcome here. I'm host the most Will Buchanan, of course, the man to my left, your right, depending on how your screen is flipped. What you got, Joe?
My name is Joe Tannell, and first I summon Gruss Griswold. Then I equip the equip card Dodgeball. Then I cast the spell El Diablo.
There's a reason why
he's casting the Ashleys. I cast Safety Man.
There is a reason why he's saying that. But aside from that, guys, before we do get started, we do have to let you guys know that, of course, just like WWE is a change of the guard, there are some times we might be using some language that might not be safe for kids. And there may be some trailers shown that might be intended for younger viewers. So your discretion is advised. Aside from that, welcome. So we might as well get into it. There is a reason why Joe said his intro that way. And, well, it's interesting. For all of you guys who have been in the me and Joe generation of Magic the Gathering, of Pokemon, of Yu-Gi-Oh, of many other card games, there are multiple ones out there, and I can keep going on. But never in this day did I ever think that the Mouse of the Infinity Gauntlet would do this. And what we mean by this is that Disney will launch a new card game to go up against Magic the Gathering and Pokemon. As you can see, the name of the card game, and if I mispronounce this, hey, what can you do? Disney Lorcana's trading card game. And all I can sit there and say, as far as this will be later released in 2023, but this is supposed to go head up with Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and other trading card games out there. But Joe, I got to ask your opinion on this. What do you think of Disney trying to literally go for everything at this point?
This one's going to be tough because we know it's Lorcana, but Disney's a very broad thing, so we don't know what kind of TCG it is. Is it going to be like the new version of Versus System, where this is based around a hero and you build, get a hero icon character or whatnot? We don't know if this is going to be Magic the Gathering. We don't know if this is going to be Commander. We just know the name of the thing. On top of that, this is also very broad in that we don't know what properties are going to be in this game. We don't know if this is going to be Disney, pure Disney, or Disney and the other big two.
Right.
Meaning this is going to be, I can make a Doofenshmirtz She-Hulk deck, or I can make a Chernabog Kylo Ren deck, or if I can combine Howard the Duck and Perry the Platypus in a deck.
A Doofenshmirtz She-Hulk deck. You know what? I'll give you points for that. I'll give you points for creativity on that one. Just because,
as long as I can cast the spell card trapped by societal convenience, or my other favorite card, I cast that chicken was dry, real dry.
Oh man, you're right. Because there's not really a lot of information on this, it's a little hard to determine exactly what the trading card game is going to be. But the fact that Disney is now entering this arena, it just says a lot. Now, of course, I'm sorry, go ahead, Joe.
So, the thing I'm most interested in is, would the mana system in this thing be based off rides, or would rides be spells or enchantments, or famous locations would be rides, or...
I think locations would be mana.
Locations would be mana, but would it be like I play like green is the Wild Kingdom, red is Epcot,
Space Mountain,
blue is Disney, Euro Disney.
I can see that, but that's a good question.
There's just so many questions, and all we have is this weird future hub that I'm fairly certain, if we look hard enough, we can see Sora, Donald, and Goofy on there. But it just leaves, we just have this, but Disney does not throw money at anything to fail.
Yeah,
So,
but it's
eh,
but it's gonna be interesting just because because it's Disney and Disney has been known, like you said, they don't really put a lot of things. They don't really put a lot of things out there that fail. I guess the best way. I mean, there's good success, there's mediocre success, uh there's monumental success, but Disney has never had a quote unquote slow day, really. I mean, even Lightyear, I mean, even Disney's least performing endeavor is still what DC's best shot, if I could put it that way. But I'm hoping on Disney Day that maybe they'll elaborate on this, which is kind of transitioning into what I'm going next since we're sticking to Disney. That yes, that Disney Day, that D23, that day, unless you are actually there, because I believe come this Friday, I think they start their after parties and things of that nature. But yes, D23 is happening this Friday, September the 9th. This upcoming September the 9th, I should say, next Friday, in which Disney will basically give its showcase. I think D23 is becoming its E3 of its own, if you will. So, but of course, unless you've been on Twitter or been on any other wonderful news sites, you probably saw this little tidbit that Disney Plus put out about Disney Plus Day that has everybody kind of chomping at the bit. You basically have Wolverine, of course, from the Wolverine, where it literally has the whole 6 days until Disney Plus Day, #X-Men. This could tease a lot. Kevin Feige has already been interviewed, and they were wondering when he's going to. I mean, everybody was guessing that X-Men will enter the MCU at Phase 10. Of course, Kevin Feige, in all his Kevin Feige ways, has sat there and said, "Yeah, I was kind of hoping they'd be in the MCU a little bit before, a lot before that." And of course, with that little tidbit being put out there, Joe, I'm letting you go first on this one. What do you think as far as Disney? I mean, we know they're going to be teasing a lot of things on D23. We're hoping to see some news on. Do you think, aside from that, do you think we are actually going to get some news about X-Men on D23?
so D23, we do know for a fact that in most D23s, this is where they fill out the calendar that we have seen that is shown off at, I was about to say E3, but San Diego Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be filling in those spots on Phase 5 and Phase 6. We also know for a fact that both Marvel and Disney will be showing off new video games.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, so there's a chance we may see the Wolverine game that got hinted at Game Awards last year.
Yeah.
Most likely we'll see a trailer for Spider-Man 2. Hopefully with some Venom stuff in it, or some new gameplay or something.
If we're that lucky.
Maybe something with the X-Men. I mean, Wolverine's right there. Don't know what that is down below Wolverine, but...
Oh, sorry. I think it's a... Let's find out. I'm down to play it.
Then it turns out to be Food Fight, and then we're both regretting this immediately.
I regret nothing.
That's a lie. Oh, it's Monsters, Inc.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stop what you're doing.
So it's just an advertisement for Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Disney Plus never gives me what I truly want because we still don't have Fillmore on there.
But
but they're still doing better than HBO Max at the moment.
That's a whole nother subject. But before we get to that, I'm the same. I'm with you, Joe. I mean, yeah, it could be the tease of the Wolverine game. It could maybe talk about the future of X-Men being in the MCU. It could talk about Hugh Jackman's role, whether or not he wants to go back to Wolverine. Although he has sat there and said multiple times that he's really done. The only reason he would ever come back, unless we actually did get the Wolverine Deadpool movie or cameo that we've always wanted, which I heavily doubt would happen at this point, since Deadpool 3 is still in writing. But then again, it possibly could happen in Deadpool 3 for all I know. But it does add a lot of fuel to the fire as far as what to expect. I think X-Men is going to be a part of it. I think that there are going to be some video games involved. I think Kingdom Hearts, I think the next Kingdom Hearts chapter is going to be kind of influenced on D23 if memory serves me right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm sorry.
I want them to upset them even more. And I want the portal to open up. You just see the claws pop out in the blue gloves, and it's Laura. Just to upset more people. But we played this correctly, and it's the little girl who's now of appropriate age to be Laura Kinney.
Yeah, I just not thought about that.
Especially at the time where Laura Kinney is now Wolverine.
True.
I want them to be that upset. I want to see that many people get hurt.
We already saw that in She-Hulk, but we'll get that in a minute. We saw that in She-Hulk, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Just to make me happier, let another little girl pop out behind her. Just let her be Gabby. Just give me Honey Badger.
Oh, Joe, at this point, you just pulled like I just choose violence trap. I just choose the card. I choose violence and just choose violence on D23 day.
I told you I'm going to be a petty bitch.
Oh god, but no, but with D23 coming out, guys, like I said, it's September 9th, which is next Friday. We are expecting a lot. I know me and Joe are both expecting a lot. I still think there's going to be some surprises. Again, if you are D23 and if you were able to get tickets, of course, you can actually go on the DT23 website. You see that they're having after parties, of course, the expo hall, which is going to be, I think it's encompassing, looks like 3 different areas. And then, of course, the member nights and the run amok in Salem. So they are definitely going to have a good old time there. And we are going to cover any news next Friday that D23 may produce. But before we completely leave the Disney/Marvel arena, we did have to note this because, again, this is kind of worth noting, even though we don't have a lot of DC news outside of Stargirl to talk about. But we do have to talk about this. You guys remember DC Fandom? I know a lot of us do. Well, DC Fandom, unfortunately, will not return this year. The reason why they said the DC Fandom will not return is because, well, the world is open back up now, that there are in-person live events, and that DC Fandom was basically serving as the medium for online conventions. Well, at least that's their excuse. But there are some pros and cons out of this, as me and Joe were talking about before this podcast started. I'm going to let Joe go first about what the pros are.
So the pros are, they at least know that they really don't have anything to promote, so they're not going to waste their time with it. The majority of the stuff that we've been promoted has either been delayed or pushed back or possibly under criminal investigation or on their apology tour or currently insulting their work, as the actor for Black Manta recently just said in an interview.
I was gonna sit there and say, he is the reverse Flash in real life.
No, the actor for Black Manta.
Oh,
you hear what his statement today was?
No, what was it?
Acting on Aquaman 2 is basically clown work. Because right now, Aquaman 2.
Mm-hmm.
Aquaman 2 is pushed back. They're probably doing reshoots. They really don't have anything to promote because nothing is really moving forward. That is both a plus and a negative. It's a plus on their side because they know they don't have to waste money on the time and the spectacle, and they just don't have anything that they can really share, which is fine. For us,
as DC, but that's what I'm saying. As DC fans, we're used to it, though. It's I hate to say this because I know you'll agree with me on this. Is that we're used to that? We're used to things getting pushed back or delayed or reshoot or rewritten. I mean, I would hope because of the success of the first Aquaman that they wouldn't really mess with the formula, except of course, you're going into the trench of the Lost Kingdom. But it's like, but you already have Poseidon strided, which means that you were able to control them. But I digress. And at the same time, Wonder Woman's supposed to make an appearance in Shazam: Fury of the Gods. It makes sense considering the fact of the realm of characters there, and of course the rumored Superman appearances in all the movies with Henry Cavill, which at this point it is also rumored that he may have signed with Marvel Studios. Again, it is a rumor. Nothing has been confirmed that Cavill has signed with Marvel Studios. It's just people just making a huge either that or people just are really just hoping for the best. But with DC fandom not just happening, I mean, don't get me wrong, DC fandom for a lot of it was trying to do what Disney did. The problem was substance. It did not have a lot of substance. I mean, yes,
no, it had substance. Ezra Miller was clearly on some sort of substance this last DC fandom.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say it. I was waiting for it.
It's the word substance. I work with what I'm given.
I knew you were gonna say it. I was waiting for it. It's like Joe's gonna take that softball and smash it on that one. I mean, but yes, Ezra Miller again. It's difficult not to talk about it, DC, because DC Warner Bros. Discovery has hitched their wagon to Ezra Miller now, and it's like, for better or for worse, they've tied whatever changes they thought of making to him. Because as Joe had said many times on our podcast, he has said it that Warner Brothers Discovery has invested too much money in the Flash not to shelve it. I mean, a lot of people are kind of comparing this to Batgirl. Well, why is Batgirl being shelved? Well, all I can think about is that if you're doing test screenings, how good was it doing to the point to where they wouldn't risk it, even though it was at a lower budget than the Flash. They could have easily just rolled the dice and took a loss, but just wanted to shelve it completely, as they said, to save or protect the image of Batgirl, which in my mind tells me it must have been a really, really bad script. But of course, the same thing can be said about Superman and Lois. With one of their actors departing, does it change the concept of the show? I would say no, but again, I think that everybody on Superman and Lois had something to play. Peacemaker is safe for right now. I mean, even James Gunn, as he was told, was working on season 2 of Peacemaker, and I love Peacemaker on HBO Max. Harley Quinn had just gotten renewed for her series on HBO Max, so that's safe. Of course, Warner Bros. Discovery right now is banking on Black Adam come October. I still say Black Adam could be great if it's done correctly. Wonder Woman movies are still going to happen. Green Lantern at this point is a question mark. Some shows, I mean, Warner Brothers did remove a lot of shows from HBO Max, including Sesame Street, which again made no sense. And at least we're getting Stargirl, which I didn't think was going to happen, even though it had a strong season 2. But we'll talk about Stargirl in that episode, in the first episode of Frenemies, very soon. But just to wrap this up,
just realized something. Sorry to interrupt.
No, good.
We don't know who the villain for Black Adam 2 is.
They never said anything. They never said who it was. I think they're waiting to see what happens. That's just me. Because I was looking for that. I couldn't find any information on it. So I think it's kind of a let's wait and see how the first one does. At least that's my opinion.
As long as it's not Mr. Mind.
But no, DC fandom, I mean, it was a nice experiment. I still think that DC still needs to, I mean, they said that they found their person that's going to be their Kevin Feige for the DC continuum. As far as going forward, it just remains to be determined. But losing DC fandom is not is not a big loss. It really isn't, for me. So, I mean, the pros of it is DC has the wonderful opportunity to reset everything and do it right the first time. Cons, who really misses DC fandom? I mean, I'm just saying.
Maybe some of the cosplayers that got featured on there. I mean, a personal friend of ours actually got featured twice in the first one.
And that was the only cool part. That, yes, a lot of cosplayers did get a lot of exposure, and I'm not mad about that. But aside from that, I mean, who else is going to miss DC fandom for what they are? But again, I digress. But we do got to talk about a few things. I was going to say show-wise, because really we only had, well, technically 3 shows, because it was technically a prologue that we got to watch. I did want to go over Stargirl first, because, again, Stargirl was one of those surprising shows, again, on DC, that had a strong, dark, I do mean dark, season 2. It was dark, and I liked it like that. It was supposed to be dark. It was dark. It was intriguing. There was a body count. Loved everything about season 2. Season 3, Frenemies. Chapter 1, The Murder. Joe, I have to know your opinion because you definitely know more on the Stargirl side than I do. What do you think of the episode, sir?
Starman did it.
Already? We're already pointing the finger at him.
Starman did it.
You think Starman killed the gambler? And then just waited?
I don't think that's Starman.
Say what?
I don't think that's Starman.
What do you think it is?
This may be one of those scenarios of I'm wearing Starman's body, but that's not Starman.
Case of the body snatchers?
We'll go with that.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I looked at that. I'm like, it was kind of a big set. So what?
That or it's Todd.
Possibly. Because, the whole thing about, and again, we are talking spoilers. So if you haven't seen Stargirl by now, you might want to mute us for the next few minutes. But yes, the whole idea of Stargirl, of course, opens up with frenemies. This is post the battle with crap, I forgot his name already.
Eclipso.
Thank you. With racist Eclipso. I mean, that's the reason why I had to put that first. Racist Eclipso, because my God. But this is post Eclipso. Everything's getting back to normal. Tigress and Sportsmaster are back to being neighbors, and Starman is inserting himself or trying to get back to what he used to be in a fight for the cosmic staff with Courtney, which again, I thought that was kind of interesting. That, the Shade is looking like he's kind of lost his mojo in a sense. The Gambler was like that dad that lost his child, is trying to get back to them. And Cindy just wants to be loved. She wants to be accepted. And of course, the other two ain't having it. 2 people want to give her a chance. The other 2 are like, F them. But no, I don't know. It kind of was weird that Starman that he was really kind of gung-ho about getting back to the way things were, if that makes sense. Especially with the whole flight thing with Stripes and with his mech. But I don't know. When it comes to the murder, it does make you wonder who shot the Gambler. Even though Cindy's body was standing over him with a smoking Derringer, and it's like, if you just showed up, this is not a good look for you. But I don't know. I mean, it could be Starman. He did sit there and say that he did woke up in a casket, and that line has been bothering me. Where he sat there and said, "I woke up, I was in the casket, I was screaming, and no one can hear me." And I can't help but remember that was a storyline from a DC. I don't remember which DC character, but I could have sworn it's a storyline somewhere. But overall, I really did dig the episode.
That would be one of the Jason Todds.
Okay.
One of the Jason Todd origins. That's one of those. I woke up in the casket after Superboy punched reality.
Yeah, there we go. Because that's what I was thinking. I was like, that line, the fact that he said that line verbatim was almost like, where did I hear that line? Where did I remember hearing that line from? But the weird part was the shade is still there when I thought he was going to leave. And at the same time, it's like something's up with his power. And at the same time, you see Our Man trying to refix the hourglass, but trying to revive Solomon Grundy, but getting nowhere. So, I mean, there's a lot of subplots there, and I'm not complaining about that. I think that's cool. But overall, I don't know if Starman did it. I don't know. I think it's going to be
Sarah said
introduced
the
to you.
alternate could be Todd, which is Green Lantern's twin brother.
Yeah. But I don't know. The more I think about it, it's like I don't know if that really was, because it was. Of course, we know it's not Cindy. Cindy has no reason to go up to the gambler. It's just wrong place, wrong time. But it just makes you wonder. It's like, okay, are we setting up for the next big bad? Either way, to me, I mean, overall, I love the episode. I love the episode. They kept the same formula as the previous season. So I think we're going to be having a very nice, strong third season as well. But any other thoughts you had on the show, Joe?
It was very Silver Age-ish for quite a bit. I did like that we got to see Joaquin Thunder, or
Yeah.
Joaquin, however we pronounce it. I don't know how they're pronouncing it in this one.
Yeah.
Doing the paper delivery, and the Shade is actually living there now.
Yeah.
That was super nice. Artemis's parents have very bad social issues. Technically breaking and entering, and then sheer intimidation.
Hey, Armin's got the job done. I don't care what nobody says. She got the job done. And
I
then
mean, if there's anything this teaches you, please lock your doors at night. You don't need to have somebody come in and start a juice bar in your house at 5:30.
Man. It's like, he said, what are we doing? Why are you locking the door? Do you know who our neighbors are? That was the funny part. Why are you locking the door? Do you know who our neighbors are? It's like, you don't go around locking the door. But no, I mean, I really did dig it. I
just like it is proven. Apparently, they also strike a deal where Sylvester and Pat will be Starman and Stripe in the morning.
Yeah.
And then there's Stargirl and the JSA at night. So I guess this means Zeke just runs that garage now.
Pretty much. But that's what makes me I'm just wondering where that's going to go, because I still think it's either going to come to a head or there's going to be a battle for the staff. One of the two. But either way it was great. But
also, I did like the small little nod to Jack, because this entire first episode he is dressed like Jack Knight.
Yeah. So there was little bits and pieces scattered through there, but I definitely did dig it. But moving right along, like I said with that one, we did actually want to also speak on something that Joe had really brought to my attention. I'm so glad he did. Was basically, guys, if you are Gundam fans, by the way, The Witch from Mercury, which dropped a prologue on the Gundam.info page on YouTube. It's still there for the world to see. Actually, I can show you guys, because me and Joe did both watch Gundam The Witch from Mercury prologue. But Joe, as this is going up, dude, I mean, this is just the beginning. We're just going to play a few minutes. What did you think about the prologue? Does it make you look forward to The Witch from Mercury, or is it just like, my God, it's terrifying that a 4-year-old has that kind of power?
If you think Iron-Blooded Orphan was your problem, gave you problems with child soldiers, you ain't seen shit.
It made Iron-Blooded Orphans look like the YMCA at this point, because my God.
Now, this is a very bloody Gundam. I don't know if this is Universal. I don't believe this is Universal Century. I think this is its own universe, which I'm fine with. I like that Gundam is actually a prosthetic technology that got compiled into military application.
Yeah.
They also do kind of take from Iron-Blooded Orphan, to where syncing with the mobile suit can potentially lead into a data dump in your mind, leaving you basically comatose.
Yeah.
Or killing you. It's effectively killing you.
Well, I mean, they don't go like Gundam Seed, where they're absorbed by the Gundam after a while. But yeah, you got the point.
But yeah, in this one, all it took was a little girl telling the Gundam about herself, and then all of a sudden, so I want that one, and that one, and that one. Mom, they look like candles.
Right.
Then all the mother's like, oh God.
The mother is The mother was horrified. I mean, horrified. It wasn't a sense of accomplishment. It was like, my God, what have we done?
It's like she's a
And
4-year-old.
I mean, yeah, she's 4. I kind of want to see if I can hang on.
It's towards the end.
I want to see if I can get to that exact part where she was like, "Mommy, this, and this." I was like,
right there. Go back.
Okay, there we go. Because that's all I wanted to find that part. Because I mean, it was more like
It's like it was activating.
Yeah, and it's just the whole thing is that she was freaking out that she read that she. It's just the look that she has was just, oh dear God, what have I done? And then at 4, and it just makes you wonder, at 4 years old, imagine when she's older. Because my God, if she has that ability at 4 linking up and she's defeating squadrons, that's saying a lot.
Yeah, here it is.
Yeah. Where she's literally, I mean, of course, I like the fact of the plate shield, and I like the fact that it's like being reinforced, and she's literally marking them.
3.
Yeah. She's just literally marking them and just, I'm not going to say it's cold-blooded, but it's freaking close. But just, I mean, you see her, of course, terrified. Kid?
Mommy.
I mean, Jesus. Okay, I gotta stop playing before that comes back to haunt us. But no, there's
no sound. They can't prove anything.
Oh, well, I had the link because I know they're gonna say it's not in the public domain. I'm like, it literally came from the Gundam.info site. It's on the public domain. But
don't worry about it.
But it's just like the whole thing. Oh, trust me, fighting copyrights from YouTube is. Ugh. But no, the Witch from Mercury prologue again. It is there on the Gundam.info site on YouTube. It's literally a 25-minute episode. So definitely check it out. If you have checked it out, let us know what you think of it. Does this get you excited from the Witch from Mercury? Because again, next month is basically the fall season for a lot of anime. We are going to be seeing not only Gundam the Witch from Mercury, we are going to be seeing Bleach and a 1,000-Year Blood War. My Hero Academia comes back. Unfortunately, not Black Clover. Black Clover has been pushed back to 2023, unfortunately. And I think I'm forgetting something else that's going to be appearing next month, but it'll come back to me. No, Jujutsu Kaisen. There we go. I almost forgot that one. Jujutsu Kaisen will also be in October. But overall, Joe, like I said, watching the Witch from Mercury, Mobile Suit Gundam, I mean, does it make you think that we're okay as far as the world of Gundam, that's next saga storytelling, or should we be concerned that a 4-year-old has that kind of power?
There are very few Gundams that are just outright bad. I mean, in fact, I want to say the only one I have really only actively disliked 2 1/3 Gundams. Which is very odd thing, but Gundam Age was split among 3 different pilots because it was a generational series of father, son, and grandson.
Yeah.
The first 2 were fantastic. The third one just flat out sucked. You don't give a child one of the strongest Gundams from an AI machine printer and then make him be basically Relina Peacecraft as a 12-year-old boy of total pacifism. We're not here for that. And I understand I'm missing the point of that genre because, he's trying to prevent a war, genocide based on racism.
Yeah.
But I'm not there to listen to a kid go, no, we shouldn't be fighting while you're piloting a Gundam. Don't be a hypocrite. Be like your dad, who pretty much is the closest thing we're getting to the Crossbone Gundam.
Yeah. You're right. I know. I'm digging it. The fact that
Build Divers and Build Divers 2 were just god awful atrocious.
I mean, I get it. Don't get me wrong, but it's just looking forward to the Witch from Mercury. I was like, they look like Kando's mommy. It's so innocent, but at the same time, so very dark. It's just the look of horror. But anyway, let me switch gears for a second before we go into Assassin's Creed. And yes,
I was going to say, speaking of gears.
Yeah, because I was going to say.
I beat Xenoblade 3 last night after 175 hours.
Yeah, you told me you went against one boss that was level 70 and you were level 84. So I'm pretty sure it was a short fight.
No, it was not. The final boss fight literally took an hour and a half.
Oh, wow. That long in sequence or that long in fighting?
Both.
Damn.
So, like, the fight starts off, he seals your ability to become the robot or do the team attack.
Okay.
So then after that, you have to find the will of courage for each of the out of the 6 members, your 2 teams of 2.
Yeah.
So Noah and Mio, Lance and Senna, and Tyon and Uni. All of them have to find their resolution to be able to interlink and do team attack. Then you got another part. Then you got a giant fight where 2 castles transform into giant robots. You fight another even bigger giant robot.
Dang.
Then you go into the thing where you're split up and and then the ending has colors I think only lizards and art students can decipher.
Damn. So,
also, you find out something very odd about Xenoblade 2's protagonist.
What's that?
Only when he gets older, he becomes a polygamist. Because Mia, shows a picture of Rex older, and he's got his arms spread out between the 3 main girls of the game. So, Nia, Pyra, and Mithra, and all 3 of them have babies.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, so good for you, Rex. Also, you may be the first polygamous father in all video games.
So he won in the end.
Yes.
he won in the end. I have yet to start Xenogears 3. I hope to once this football season gets passed, because
that is not a spoiler in any way by the main guy. It was a sight gag during the ending, but it has no bearing on the ending. It is literally a photograph sight gag.
Okay.
So don't worry about that. That is not spoiled anything big for either Xenoblade 2 or Xenoblade 3. I am literally pointing out a hilarious sight gag that just kind of well, okay then.
Oh, God. Speaking of things that are coming out, Joe, you want to let people know about Kamen Rider? I can't even finish the sentence.
Because you started the sentence after talking about babies about coming out.
Kamen Rider Black Sun has a second trailer coming out.
We'll give him a moment. He did this one to himself. That's on him.
Oh, I was not prepared for this.
俺はお前たちと同じ怪人だ。同じ怒りを感じている怪人だ。黙っていれば差別は続き、徹底的に叩き潰される。だからお前たちはもっと怒っていい。ここは人間だけの世界ではない。俺たちの世界でもある。だったら戦うしかないだろう。タヌキか。長い逃亡生活ご苦労様ですよ。生き残りできないのか。キングストーン持ってたのか。お前がキングストーンを奪ってこい。私を倒すことはできない。本能のままに殺し合いを従っているのは人間の方だ。
All I can sit there and say is I am definitely watching this.
So Joe, this is very different from the original Kamen Rider Black. This is extremely different. And I'm all there for it. So Kamen Rider Black's original story is very reminiscent of classic Kamen Rider, where youth is captured by an evil organization, turned into their perfect soldier, somehow escapes and fights against them. 90% of the time in Black and Black RX, much like where something slightly goes wrong in an original Kamen Rider, was it Shocker? 90% Shocker. In this one, in Kamen Rider Black, was it Golem? Yeah, it was Golem. So this is very different because this is a societal story, apparently. Maybe possibly an anthology story where Kamen Rider Black is just part of it.
Yeah.
Based off this trailer, because we see it's a whole city of kaijin or monster people who apparently want equal rights.
Yeah.
And are staging a protest for their rights when, much like in the real world, police officer gets a little bit too spooked and tries to claim self-defense and shoots a guy in the back. I'll leave that analogy there on its own. We're not going to follow up on that one too much. But I'm not sure if this is because it does say various stories of kaijin.
Yeah.
I'm unsure if, like I said, this is going to be an anthology series that follows Black around, because we have seen already the productions of Black and Shadow Moon. But I am unsure how the story is going to shape out, or if certain episodes will be dealing with the fallout of those certain ones, because the most notorious kaijin for all of Kamen Rider is always the bat and the spider.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it because I'm like, I want to see who did the action choreography, because I have an inkling it's the same guy who did the Raid Redemption. Based on the fighting style and fighting choreography, I want to say it's the same guy who did the Raid Redemption. It just gave me those kind of vibes, but I'll find that out. That's not a big.
I'm looking up right now on IMDb.
Oh, okay. Well, while you're doing that, to get that answer, very really quickly, guys, Disney D23 is not the only thing that's happening next week. Ubisoft, yes, Ubisoft is having another Ubisoft Forward on September 10th, which is basically going to fall on a Saturday. So, of course, they chose Saturday because they did not want to go head-to-head with Disney on Disney Day. Aside from Ubisoft Forward, they did already mention that the next Assassin's Creed game is going to be called Assassin's Creed Mirage. They want to take it back to the traditional Assassin's Creed, which means it's no longer going to be open world. It is going to be linear. It is going to not focus. It is going to focus back on more stealth-based attacks and things of that nature. And I'll be honest, as a person that did enjoy Odyssey, that did enjoy Black Flag. I'm not Black Flag. That's wrong. Odyssey. What was that Egyptian one? Crap.
Origins.
Say what?
Origins.
Thank you. I did enjoy Origins. I did enjoy Odyssey. I love Valhalla. I thought Valhalla was great. But those three are all examples of open world. Aside from Black Flag and, of course, Assassin's Creed 3, those were also open world. Those were not linear. But the fact they're trying to get away from open world missions, and the fact that they're trying to get away from some of the skill set tree that we all know and love, it is going to be an adjustment, because it's been a very, 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 very long time since we've gotten back to the Assassin's Creed 1 and 2 play styles. But they are going to go into this more with Ubisoft Forward come September 10th. But Joe, what do you think about what they're saying with Assassin's Creed? Really getting away from what made Odyssey, Valhalla, Origins great and going back to the original. Do you think it's a good move? Do you think it's a bad move? Or
it can be a good thing, but they better have a character with more personality than Altair, because that is literally what killed my interest in the first one. Altair just was the most boring character they could have ever chose to make your thing, which is why I think Ezio was so bombastic and had such a huge personality.
Yeah, because
that was massive course correction on their part.
Because Altair was just a soldier in a way. He just followed orders. He never questioned anything, which is the reason why I like Rogue so much. I love Assassin's Creed Rogue, but
so the director, they don't have the stunt coordinator, but the director for Kamen Rider Black Sun is Kazuya Shirayashi, who has directed 21 Things. He is post-production and directed episode 1. So it looks like this may have multiple directors.
Okay.
So
just
this
add
may
up.
be an anthology series that just kind of leads into stuff.
Okay, so it may just add up. It just kind of I just like that fight choreography. That's the one thing that really caught my eye about Kamen Rider Black. But another thing that caught Joe's eye, as he joked about this in our Git Bit Facebook group, of course, Dragon Ball Super Superhero came out, and of course, for a lot of people, they did thought that that, of course, if you see the movie, first and foremost, I'm not going into any details. Superhero was a great side story. You should definitely go to the movie theaters or watch it, wherever you choose to see it. That being said, of course, there is an expansion coming to Dragon Ball Xenoverse, and it's not 3, it's a DLC, which again, this is just gonna play as we're talking. But after the announcement of Superhero, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, as they keep on saying, keeps expanding, which is a la, vis-a-vis, get ready to pay for more DLC characters. As you can literally, they're about to actually show it. For Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, from the Superhero DLC, you're going to get Gamma. Now, for all those that don't know, Gamma is one of the androids that was created by Dr. Hito to literally fight bad guys. Again, not trying to go too much in the story of Superhero, but he's actually one of the androids that was in the movie and now are playable characters. I'm not mad about this because, again, we have reached a lot fighting platforms wise that, we're expecting that most games, if you want players, you're going to add on DLC. Street Fighter is a great example of that. That we're just going to have to, kind of grin and bear that we're going to be paying more for DLC packs for certain fighters. But as you can see right there, Gamma's to be released this fall. And as you can see, there's going to be 3 more spaces. Well, technically, we know 2 more fighters are coming in DLC Pack 1. DLC Pack 2 is probably going to have 3 on there as well. What are you going to say?
No, I'm going to call it DLC Pack 1 will be Powered Up Piccolo and Beast Gohan, and DLC Pack 2 is going to be the Cell Max Raid.
I can see that. I can honestly see those 2, Orange Piccolo and Beast Gohan, and then Cell Max. I can see that, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that for marketing, makes marketing sense to actually do that. But it's just the whole thing to me is like, everybody keeps waiting for. I mean, there's going to be a group of people out there that love Xenoverse and that love fighters. I'm a Dragon Ball Fighters fan. I have nothing against Xenoverse. I think it's great, but I like the 2D fighting that Dragon Ball Fighters gets me. But the DLCs are going to wind up being coming. I think, Joe, you did already confirm that a Xenoverse 3 is being made eventually or will be released eventually.
Let's double down on that. Xenoverse 3, everything we need to know.
Yeah, because I think they're still moving forward with the release. Just for right now, they are just going to go with what's already out there. But it's going to be interesting. Like I said, I don't really want to go into Superhero. Like I said before, if you've seen it, you should definitely watch it. It's a nice side story. I will put it that way. I don't want to, like I said, don't want to go into too much details. If you read the manga like I did before you went to go see the movie, it's exactly how the manga plays out. I still think at the very end is the reason why I still say Goku's a dick. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm just going to leave it at that. Why I say that. But what are you gonna say, Joe?
Why is Goku a dick in this one?
I'll tell you once the podcast is over because I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it for the end of Superhero. So I'll tell you later. But speaking of things that are spoiled, I have to give this. This is our second and last television review of the night. She-Hulk, and I have to thank all you toxic Marvel fans, you toxic woman-hating, woman-fearing Marvel fans. Why? Because you gave us all the ammunition for episode 3. Now, if you've seen episode 3, cool. If you haven't seen episode 3, again, you might want to mute us for a few seconds just because we're going to talk about it. if you were paying attention to the beginning of She-Hulk episode, She-Hulk Continuing Law episode 3, you may have noticed something that a lot of people, who are still doing it currently right now, voicing their opinions, like Mace024. So we have a Me Too movement, and now all the heroes are gone. Somehow I think Marvel just made a wrong turn. Or Orion Lucent. WTF, we've been waiting for a Hulk standalone, and this is the best you can do is She-Hulk. Disappointed, but interested. Effing Marvel, man. Park. Try saying that 5 times fast. Bruh, what is this? You're giving us things that we don't want. And I mean, you can go on the internet. There's thousands upon thousands upon thousands of replies like this. But what did She-Hulk do? Turned around and made it a part of the show. So guess what, toxic Marvel fans? You gave them exactly the ammo they need to keep going. Aside from the fact of Meg Thee Stallion being literally and figuratively, that was being said so many times during the show. But Joe, I'm gonna let you go first. What did you think of the 3rd episode of She-Hulk Returning at Law?
Oh, I loved it.
I mean, it was.
It had the Wrecking Crew in it, the Asgardian idiots, which in this one they are not Asgardian. I mean, they never were Asgardian, by the way. I refer to them as that because what gives them their powers is
Asgardian weapon,
magical crowbar that bestows upon them their powers. And in the comics, it's only the crowbar that is magical, and everyone else just has like construction equipment. In this one, they have currently raided an Asgardian construction site and taken their actual construction tools to make it.
I have it works.
2 suspicions on who the boss is.
The leader.
The
leader.
Well, the leader's one because that's also another Edward Norton movie character, which what was that? Or it's Blonsky.
Yeah, I can see him in his whole "I've changed." You know what? Shout out.
It actually could be innocent enough to where he just wants to make all the wives into She-Hulks.
It could be, but it's just like Tim Roth playing Emil Blonsky. I'm a changed man. Look, I'll show you. It's just the whole thing of reverting back. I control my anger now. I just can't get past that part. He's like, if you really think about it, I didn't know what they were pumping into me, and I thought I was the good guy. And I love the fact that he had his whole, I guess you can call him fan club to the side, and then Wong of all people. You know what?
Oh yeah. So I broke him out of there against his will, and just came back. So you realize you've committed a very terrible crime? I'm out.
I must depart. I am needed elsewhere.
No, my favorite part was his LinkedIn job title. He was a Target associate for 9 years, then a librarian at Carmitage for 11 years.
I was like, wait a minute.
Currently Sorcerer Supreme.
I'm like, wait a minute. Where is the Target's? Where is the overlap in this? How do we go from red shirt to Master of the Mystic Arts? I thought about that and I'm like, you know what? I'm not even mad. But I love the fact that we see Tatiana as far as her playing Jennifer going 4th wall break. You know what? This is not going to be this type of show. It's not going to be that type of show. You're not going to have cameos every week. Well, except for Bruce and Blonsky. Well, you get the idea, but you know whose show this is. I was like, this is exactly why She-Hulk will work. She-Hulk will work where it pokes fun in itself, but if you read in the She-Hulk comics, that's how she is. She's a character of a 4th wall break. So I love the fact that how she's being written, how her story is being told, and the fact that they're basically using toxic fans as a part of the show, especially the whole thing about Meg Thee Stallion, where Guy thought he was dating Meg Thee Stallion, but turns out he was dating an Asgardian who could shapeshift. And the whole time, it's like Meg Thee Stallion pops up. And of course, around the internet now, you would have to literally be Ray Charles on the internet not to see the video of She-Hulk and Megan Thee Stallion twerking, and you see a lot of grown men's fantasies coming true. That's all I'm going to say about that. But no, Joe. But to answer your, but to kind of agree with you on that, I think it is the leader, just because we haven't seen him. We haven't seen him since the Incredible Hulk. Technically, he wasn't taken by the army. We never saw the army go into the buildings and apprehend him. And he does have a little bit of Bruce's blood, of course, to give him his intellectual powers. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see Return of the Leader. It could be Emil Blonsky just playing possum. But at this point, I'm wondering who else we're going to see on She-Hulk at the moment, aside from Wong making dynamic entries and exits. But
who else is going to be in it?
Aside from the one we already know, we know we're going to see Daredevil eventually. We are going to see Daredevil eventually, but it's almost like who else are we now going to see in this limited run? Just
Howard
because. Say what?
Howard the Duck.
Yep, that was guess number 3. I want to see Howard the Duck just because for nostalgia vibes. But again,
to move the Thor plot line along, we could also see Hercules.
That would be a nice little tie-in. It would be a nice little tie-in jumping from Love and Thunder to She-Hulk. It would be. I mean, I still think that Old Boy's character from what show was he on Apple Plus? It's sad because I watched that show on Apple Plus and I got hooked and I can't think of it. Ted Lasso. There we go. He was on that show.
She-Hulk's one-time husband, Harry Styles, could also pop up.
Death by Snoo.
No, like really, Starfucks and She-Hulk were married at one point.
Yeah, and he has been introduced via Celestia. He has been introduced via the Eternals. So I mean, it's not far beyond the realm of possibility. But no, it's just I just love that show for what they're going with. And we've already said various. I mean, Joe said it, I said it. If honestly you still have an issue with She-Hulk at this point, you must be either intimidated or afraid of women. That's all we can say. Because there's nothing wrong story-wise with She-Hulk. There isn't. I mean, they have took a very great approach and plenty of source material to go from to where it is, to me, an awesome show. And I know to Joe it's also an awesome show that we'll still continue to watch. But Joe, any more news that we have, sir, before we go to comics?
Taika Waititi will not be directing any further Thor movies due to the financial disappointment for Thor 4.
Of Love and Thunder?
Yep.
I thought it was great.
It did not do well enough financially, so he will not be doing any more Thor movies.
Well, shite. That's gonna suck. Well, I don't think Chris Hemsworth's got too many movies left under his contract anyway. But go ahead.
No, that was let me look at CBR and see if we got anything else that we weren't aware of or happened.
I thought Love and Thunder was great. People complained about Gore the God Butcher's not getting enough screen time. What do you need screen time for? He was doing exactly what he said he would do. All gods must die. Every time you saw him, a god died. I think he was doing his work. That's all I'm saying. But then again, Thor and his issues between Stormbreaker and Mjolnir was still funny to me. Every time I tried to get back with Mjolnir, Stormbreaker came around like a jealous girlfriend, like, hey, buddy, I was just going to call you. But no, I just can't believe it didn't. I mean, if that's the case, well, no, because Captain Marvel didn't really do bad, but it really didn't do good, and it was kind of middle of the road, so I guess that's kind of a fair point. Although it's hard. I said what?
Yeah, I'm not really finding too much TV news. Is there anything else on TVE that we need to be aware of?
I don't really think we're going to have a lot outside the fact. Oh, Cobra Kai is coming back next week on Netflix.
Yeah, Cobra Kai is coming back. The Lord of the Rings.
I see that.
And then apparently HBO Max dropped House of the Dragon episode 1 on YouTube the same day as Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
Episode 1 came out.
Yep. I still have to go back and and watch the Lord of the Rings of Power. Because before I give my review on that, Samaritan, unfortunately, guys, Prime Video is having issues, so I still have yet to watch it. I still want to give it its fair shake. So I eventually will post my review on IG once we get to that point, or until Amazon Prime decides to work with me. One of the two.
Apparently, Florence Pugh's Black Widow will be the lead. In MCU's Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
So that's good. I'm okay with her being the lead.
Well, I mean,
I'm sure she'll have to just share screen with Baron Zemo, but I'm fine with that.
As long as that guy who plays Baron Zemo comes back, I'm okay with that.
Daniel Brew?
Yes, as long as he comes back. He may look. The only reason I will go back and watch the dance scene in Falcon and Winter Soldier was just for him. The fact that he literally encompassed Marvin Gaye so eloquently to the point to where that line will always stick. He's not lying, but he's right. He's not lying, but he's right. But I don't think we really got anything more left on the TV side of the world now that I think about it.
Oh, there we go. For games, this is going back to what we actually said earlier about D23. It's going to be at 3 Central on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. We will be expected to see Disney Dreamlight Valley, which is the Harvest Moon style, Harvest Moon and Animal Crossing version of the Disney thing. Which actually doesn't look that bad. I won't lie about that. More of Marvel's Midnight Suns, Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker series, Skywalker Saga, which already had really good news, and so there's a chance of either an expansion or DLC be shown there. We also could be getting a trailer for Alien Dark Descent, the new Avatar adventure, Frontiers of Pandora.
Oh, so the exhibits that they're showing during D23.
Yeah. More video game news on Jedi Survivor.
Oh, don't tease us like that. Nah, don't tease us like that. I hope they do. I kind of hope they do show. I mean, I'm one of those. I want to see more just because Fallen Order was so good, as I like to call it, EA's apology for Star Wars Battleground. But that was an apology, but it was a beautiful apology.
There's also an unnamed Marvel ensemble game from Skydance New Media, helmed by Uncharted author Amy Hennig. The game is currently surrounded by speculation. All that's currently known is that the Mystery Boxer is an ensemble game, and proposing it could also be with Fantastic Four. Guys, if it's an ensemble game, more than likely it's what's it called? It came out a while ago. It was X-Men Legends at first.
Say what?
It was X-Men Legends at first. Is it Marvel Legends? No.
It was X-Men Legends at first.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance. It could be a new Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Do we really? I'm not saying it wasn't a bad game, but do we really need another Ultimate Alliance?
This is an Ultimate Alliance that gives us more X-Men.
Yeah. I mean, I get it, but it's like, I don't mean to be that guy, but it's like, do we really need it though? In the grand scheme of things, do we really need that? I mean, that's just me, but I could be wrong.
That's all I got on my end, based off anything we may have missed over the course of the show.
No, I mean, I think we got it. I think we've done pretty good, at least as far as coverage goes. But I did want to talk about your comments, especially one that is near and dear to your heart that I wanted your opinion on. Because I know you're ready to talk about it. But I know you're gonna go at your leisure, so just let me know when you're ready, sir.
What's up? So we're starting off tonight. Honorable mention is the Power Rangers Unlimited one-shot, the Death Ranger. This is written by Paul Allure with illustration by Kath Lobo and Kavosky. I'm hoping Chandra.
Yeah,
Colors by Phoebe Marquise, Sarah Antonelli with colors by Sharon Marone. Basically, this is telling the origin story of the Gold Death Ranger, which was the Gold Omega Ranger. Mm-hmm. The whole premise is set up by the lady that is raising Kid Andrus and Kid Zane on KO35. Tells them the story about the Death Ranger, which was a part of the Omega Ranger team, but not the current one, maybe one of the founding versions of the team.
Yeah.
And the rest of the book this ties into, stuff is not going that great because of this dude, and we get to see why. We look at a character who is not inherently evil, but not entirely sound of mind, and his alien species may just not be able to comprehend the ability of death or being able to move on from a death.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result of it, the Gold Omega Ranger is pretty much just a necromancer. And then the rest of the team tries to continuously stop him, despite the fact that if you read it the way it's meant to be, this dude is not a villain. This dude is technically not even a threat until he's actually provoked to defend himself in the grand scheme of things.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to hold it in because he's saying everything I want to say right now. Go ahead.
He just wants his friend back is all. But no, this just takes a closer look at who the Death Ranger is. And then, unfortunately, at the end of the book, Kid Zane and Kid Andros get the message entirely wrong about this guy. It's like, oh, well, bringing back the dead is a good thing then. No. It's not how things work. Yeah, we can bring back our parents easily if we can find this guy's morpher. No, that is wrong. We don't do that. I mean, this is an honorable mention just because of the Ranger tie-in and stuff going south real quickly, really, really badly in the comic proper, but I enjoyed this.
Oh, I'm with you on that. I had to stop myself just because it was like he wasn't evil though. It's like I can understand if he's like, I can use this power to raise an army of the dead at my will and all this stuff. He's like, I just want my friend back. It's like you want to feel that sympathy, but the rest of them are like, you're corrupted, but I'm not. I mean, if I was corrupted, all y'all be swimming in dead people right now. But I was gonna stay and say he was wrong. It's like hashtag he was wrong.
I mean, now he's a bad guy because 1,000 Years of Madness.
But who put him there? See, that's what I'm saying. See, at this point, sometimes you birth a villain. Sometimes the heroes birth a villain. That was birthing a villain.
Moving on over to DC, we got the Wonder Girl annual. This is written by Joella Jones and cover art by Joella Jones. Doug Marquise does some pages. Emmy Lennox does some pages. Mm-hmm. Penciling and inker is Andrea Mello for some pages. Sweeney Boo is artist on some pages. Den Dewey is artist on some pages. Jordi Belair is colorist on the majority of the book. We start off with a quick story involving Jerry the Pegasus, and then we dive into what was possibly the second and possibly third arc of the would-be Wonder Girl comic, where the Brazilian Amazons are fighting, we'll go with Kinfolk de Gossamer.
Yeah.
The Looney Tunes hair monster. It's the only way I can describe that monster.
Or Kuka. Kuka.
Meanwhile, Wonder Girl catches up with her main love interest, who has been taken by a Brazilian demon woman. and the crocodile wearing a wig and a magical crocodile lady. So they got to fight her. Oh no, I enjoyed it, but I'm a big Wonder Girl fan, so I'm a bit more biased. I do see the shortcomings in this book, but again, we were looking at stories that probably were meant to be much longer and more detailed, and instead we had to get super condensed versions because I'm fairly certain this book here probably finishes out someone's contract.
Probably so. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the fact that, run into your ex who doesn't too say, well, you've been gone for so long, so I decided to date a woman that turns out to actually be a monster. But at the same time, hey, you're back single again. It's like, hey, you're back single again. So might want to pick up where we left off. I was like, okay. I mean, yeah, the story was okay, but I mean, the ending kind of made sense because your ex did kind of save you from your current. So why not make her your current again? But poor Jerry.
Yeah, again, with Joella Jones doing some art, I just got to reread the book twice.
Yeah.
Other than that, moving on DC, because DC was very limited this time. We got the Flash annual, and as we can see here, this is written by Jeremy Adams with art by Serge Acuna and colors by Matt Herms. The long and short of this book is this is Linda. Linda is currently pursuing a career in love novels.
Yeah, she's not. Yeah.
Even though she's already a news reporter and scientist that can research Speed Force for the sake of her children. We just pretty much get to see Linda's life as told by a romance novel with a space captain and her life growing up. And the one consistent thing is actually Kadabra or Abracadabra, which I don't know if that was meant to be on purpose or not, that he remained Abracadabra regardless. So that may actually lead into something. But the big thing is Linda has been having super speed powers, and we may actually have gotten an answer to that. And the answer, without spoiling too much, is the powers are, she's using the powers, but the powers may not be hers.
Right.
They may be somebody else's. I enjoyed this book. It's a very trashy romance novel, which is weird. Wally just flat out says his wife is a dork and loves it.
Just all the Danielle, just think all the Danielle Steele 1980s to 99 books that you see at Target and Walmart. Go with that. That's all I'm going to say.
The fact that you know the name of this character worries me.
I'm just saying. Because when I read it, I was like, why does this feel like a Danielle Steele novel?
You're only digging yourself deeper.
Hey, you never know. I always prepare myself for the Jeopardy question that may always be asked. You have to be prepared.
Like I said, not a bad book. I'm still loving the Wally run. It hasn't treated me too badly yet. Moving on over to Marvel, we have Amazing Fantasy number 1000. I don't know why they decided to go with legacy numbering. But this does help celebrate the 60 years of Spider-Man. This is written by a lot of people. So first story is by Anthony Falcone and Michael Cho, art by Michael Cho. Sinister 60 is written by Dan Slott with art by Jim Chung and colors by J. David Ramos. Spider-Man versus Conspiration.
I thought it was conspiracy, but I could be wrong.
A lot of people thought it was constipation. It was just going to be about how Spider-Man ate too many pizzas from Eddie's. But, that was written by Armando Lucini, with pencils by Ryan Stegman and inker by J.P. Mayer and colors by Sonia Obak. The Kid's Got a Good Eye is written by She-Hulk writer Rainbow Rowell with pencils and inker by Oliver Coipel. Color is Matt Wilson. In the Flesh is written by Ho-Chi Anderson with pencils by Giuseppe Caminoli.
Mm-hmm.
Inker by Klaus Jensen. Colorist by Jordi Belair pulling double duty. Now she's over at Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Slaves of the Witch Queen, word by Kurt Busiek. Art by Terry Dodson. Inker by Rachel Dodson. I think those two may be related somehow. Probably married. You Get It by Jonathan Hickman. Art, pencils, and ink by Mark Cicchetto. Color by Frank Martin. And with great power, written by Neil Gaiman. Pencil and inker by Steve McNiven. And colors by Steve McNiven and Richard Isanovi.
Close enough.
Okay. Lots of multiple stories. All of them really good Spider-Man written on thing. I think some of my favorite is the Anthony Falcone where Peter is just hounding this one low-life perp. And I'm not sure if he's doing it because it reminds him of Uncle Ben or if this is the guy that shot Uncle Ben.
No, I think it's the guy that reminds me of Uncle Ben. Because I'm not gonna lie, if that was the guy that shot Uncle Ben, I don't think he would have been trying to be nice to the guy, personally. I think he'd been trying to beat the crap out of the guy.
He even goes and gets Hammerhead's elite squad of like Fancy Dan and whatnot, but like all of them. Sinister 60, that actually I really, really liked. You get to see Spider-Man taken down by a mugger and being put in the hospital. All the hospital the EMS is like, there's a rule with Spidey. You can't put the half mask on.
Right.
Even in the hospital, people are lined up to see Spider-Man, and MJ gets in there. The doctors and nurses know who MJ is at this point.
Well,
and clearly outs herself as his wife at this point in the book, as they're both 60s, because Peter just like screwed over her on a birthday date for his birthday. They were going to go to a nice restaurant for their 60th birthday. 60th birthday. Clearly being Spider-Man got her held up. MJ by this point is totally fine with it, but completely outside. She is Mrs. Spider-Man in the hospital by telling him to get his butt back in bed. Peter's like, but it was a mugging. I had to help.
Spider-Man was pretty much no culture for old men on that point. But
and then at the very end of it, MJ gets back by eating Peter's piece of birthday cake.
Which goes to show you that MJ is the real villain.
I really, really like that. Everything else was just kind of cool. I was honestly kind of expecting Ben Reilly to pop up in one of these stories because he does play quite a pivotal role in Peter's life.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of bummed out by that one. The Neil Gaiman thing was pretty fun. Where like Spider-Man is just a person in the real world too for no reason.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I mean a lot. Neil Gaiman's like, oh yeah, no, you had had this great toy taken from me. You never used it, but it meant a lot to me. And then he meets him, and Peter's just like, I meet a lot of people.
That was like, petty.
Yeah. Then at the end of it, gives him another spider pistol again.
Like, yeah, I remember you. Here. I was like, why are you gonna be a dick right at that point? It's like, yeah, I remember you. Here you
go. Probably the best artwork is the Kurt Busiek story, Slave of the Witch Queen.
Mm-hmm.
Which one was that? Just some guy.
Well, Slaves of the Witch Queen was when now you got me thinking about it. Because it wasn't the Queen Goblin. It was shoot. Now you got me thinking about it. I can't remember right now. Crap. I cannot remember now. Because it was about a story where it was about hypnotized. Well, no, it wasn't hypnotized, I don't think.
No, that's Spider-Man versus Conspiration, which is the...
Well, that was the gas that caused hallucinations. Right. Yeah, that was the gas that caused hallucinations.
Kid's Got a Good Eyes, Rainbow Rowell, which I honestly kind of want her to write Spider-Man, and I want Oliver Coipel to draw Spider-Man because that was some fantastic artwork.
Yeah.
No, In the Flesh is definitely not the right one. That's the woman who's got she's got the spiders in her and has the spider totem.
Oh yeah, where she thinks that
going on.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. So the Slave of the Witch Queen is actually a sequel to Amazing Fantasy number 15, meaning none of us were born when this came out.
Pretty much.
But it's a ancient Egyptian woman on a goblin glider.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Where she was from a different dimension and Spider-Man had convinced her, this is not where you want to be, lady.
And again, I want these people to write and draw it because Terry and Rachel Dotson do amazing work. Proof enough of that is Adventure Man comic written and drawn by Terry Dotson. Kurt Busiek's had his run on Spider-Man, which is very, very well done.
Mm-hmm.
The other one that really stood out to me was Peter talking to the Council of Peters.
Oh, that was petty. He's like, no one else is experiencing heartbreak. No, I'm successful. I'm rich. I got a family. I'm happy with my life. Seriously, none of you. We had you going for a second, didn't we? That was all
the other Spider-Mans, raise your hand.
Oh, that was such a level of petty. He's like,
you see some really cool Spider-Man costumes, though.
Oh yeah.
My favorite has to be that black and neon orange and red one in the when all the Spider-Mans were raising their hands.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. But this goes to show you, every Peter Parker in a different universe is a little bit of a dick. It's like, he's like, we do that to all the newbies. It's like, that is uber petty. But I approve.
Yeah, no, like this shows that there can be great Spider-Man written. And I'm wondering why we don't get that right now. And there's so many great other artists that can be drawing this book other than John Romita Jr. Now, we do get another Spider-Man book coming out, and for the first time in a while, there's no moniker before it. There's no amazing, sensational, spectacular. We're just getting a book just titled Spider-Man.
Nice. Okay.
That'll be coming out in the winter. I will definitely be looking into this because, as I said, as soon as Dark Web is over, guys, I'm dropping Spider-Man. Next up, we got.
I'm sorry.
What?
You hung in there as long as you could. I'm not giving you crap for that. You hung in there as long as you could. But go ahead.
Anytime Ben Reilly pops back up in Spider-Man, I'll be happy to pick up that arc, but I just can't do it anymore. I do not like that writer. I do not like Jim Zub writing Peter. I think he's a better suit for Ben. And I just do not like John Romita Jr. because everyone looks like a Lego Pez dispenser for a head.
No, that's fair. Go ahead.
Next up, we got X-Men number 14. This is our Judgment Day tie-in. This is written by Jerry Dugan with art by C.F. Vila and colors by Matt Mila. We have Jean Grey, Cyclops, Magic, Sync, Iceman, Forge, Starfire, and Havoc in here. This is a tie-in to X, but this is the X-Men tie-in.
Mm-hmm.
The long and short of this one is shenanigans are popping up as a result of a celestial god brought to life by a combination of the Eternals, Mr. Sinister, and Tony Stark. And already crap has hit the fan because he is going to be judging everybody individually. The Celestial will be judging everybody individually, and whether the human race lives or dies based off of that. And we are already not on a good start because Captain America has failed.
Right. Which I was like, I saw that part. I'm like, really? Of all people, that's who you judge by? But I'm sorry, go ahead.
But he does give the reason why he fails, though.
Yeah.
He represents the ideal of a country, and the country does not represent him as the ideal.
True, but still.
Oh, yeah. Then he judges a bunch of the Quiet Council, which to no shock and no one's surprise, Emma fails. Raven or Mystique and Destiny fail. Surprisingly, the King of the Deviants actually passes, which is hilarious considering the history of the Celestials, the Eternals, and the Deviants. But the Deviants do get a thumbs up.
Which is still wild to
In
me.
this issue, other than Cyclops and Magic rescuing various peoples from aliens trying to once again steal from Game World, despite the Game World has been put out of commission by Jean, Polaris, and Laura, they are unaware of it and drop a bomb that's going to make the sun's solar flare onto the Earth, killing everybody. Iceman, amazing friends get together in this book to help things. The only thing we don't have is Miss Lion barking down below.
Pretty much.
And then after that, the Celestial comes and tries to judge Cyclops. To which Cyclops tells you, I don't give a crap, and the only one allowed to judge me is my wife.
That was
To which the Eternal's like, okay then, thumbs up. You're good.
That was literally a man who had no fear. He's like, I can judge
it's
by my
not even
wife.
the man that had no fear. I guarantee you, he's being judged on whether or not he would own up to what his past was and make sure the other things that Cyclops has pretty much been down on. But Cyclops, after coming back, has just been a fantastic character.
Yeah, but it's the whole thing. It just, I'm going to judge you now. F your judgment. Just walk off. I don't care if you give me the thumbs up. F your judgment. It's like, where was this Cyclops when Wolverine was punking him? That's what I want to know.
But he was too busy writing up defense schematics in case of a 30-foot monster.
That's true, but no, it was a good issue. I was like, Cyclops just had the 0 F's to give moment, but no, I thought it was a good episode. I mean, not a good episode, good issue. Yeah.
Moving on over. Thunderbolts #1.
You have been looking forward to this, so I just want to know your
opinion.
I
really have been. This is written by Jim Zub, art by Sean Izaoski. We'll go with that. And colors by Java Tartaliga. This is a super fun book at the moment. Fortunately, we don't get the little monster down below. That's going to come next. We get an introduction to this thing. Hawkeye's out doing some stuff, and then Luke Cage calls him in and wants him to lead the Thunderbolts. And their first mission is to catch the Thunderbolts. Meanwhile, they do get a very, very big fight breaks out between Hawkeye and John Walker. They are not friends as a result of what happened in Hawkeye Freefall. Despite the fact that Hawkeye was briefed that John Walker is working with the FBI to bring in Fisk's Thunderbolts. That does not matter to Clint in the least.
Yep.
We get to meet various members of the team. We get to see Abomination, and my Marvel book logic continues to make sense to me. If the psychic member makes the giant guy knock himself out in some way, shape, or form through psychic powers, we're in for a fun book. I was right about New Mutants when Sean had that one space alien knock himself out.
Yeah.
After making sure he said something nice about her. And in this one, we have the Purple Man's eldest daughter make Abomination just punch himself in the nuts into submission.
That was still petty, but effective, but petty.
It was effective, but petty. We do see some issues here where the team is not totally gelled. We also see that America Chavez may be having some power issues. Luke Cage officially gives his blessing to Power Man, the new Power Man, who's honestly kind of a fusion of Danny and Luke.
Considering the fact that he's, his chi gauntlets, but which I thought was kind of fun.
And some new guy, Guts and Glory, I think is his name.
Yep. Dizzy is.
I think he's just an allegory for the 90s.
I was like, I just got Cable vibes. I was like, his abilities. I was like, why am I getting Cable vibes from this?
Then Monica shows up in the end, but they defeat some of the Thunderbolts, and some of the Thunderbolts get away, so we'll be following that up. I really enjoyed this. I don't know if Will liked it. For me, this is a fun book. Again, I will state my bias on this. Because it is a Thunderbolt book, I am more inclined to enjoy this. Just because of my history with reading and collecting the Thunderbolts.
I'm not gonna lie, I was rocking with Clint. Clint was like, so you do know that Walker was literally with the FBI. I mean, I didn't at the time, but when I found out, I still wanted to hit him. It's like Clint kind of had this laissez-faire attitude toward, like, I still wanted to hit Walker. I mean, and of course, Luke Cage is kind of turning like Luke Cage, now that he's mayor, is like, he's like the old police chief in Lethal Weapon. Every time his renegade cops come in, all you had to do was contain the situation.
And now Luke Cage has to worry about the best thing ever. He has to worry about collateral damage payments billed to the city insurance.
Yeah. But no, I really did like this first issue of Thunderbolts. I mean, the fact they are kind of shadowing something's up with Guts, something's up with America. The fact that, of course, going back to Devil's Reign, where he did ask Monica, he's like, do you want to lead the team? And she says no, but you still hung around anyway. So it's like,
well, her direct thing to Luke in this one is, I don't want to lead the team.
Yeah. And that was this whole thing. It's like, but you stuck around. Well, I thought still might be needed. But no, it's a nice setup. I do like the sub stories that are being developed in this. But no, I really did like it. And the fact that Clint was like, no, I just really wanted to hit John Walker. It's just, he's like, despite knowing everything, you still want to hit the guy. But I give props.
I think John Walker. If it's not the Dora Milaje hitting him, it's going to be somebody else.
The disrespectful ass whooping. The most disrespectful.
It really was.
The most disrespectful ass whooping in the MCU so far. But no, it was a good issue.
So yeah, as I said, Jim Zub, not a great Spider-Man writer, at least not a great Peter Parker writer, but good Thunderbolts writer. That's all he got on comics.
Okay. Well, we always want to shout out Rick's Comic City here in Middle Tennessee, especially if you're in Nashville. Definitely check them out. They have been voted Nashville's #1 place for comic books, so definitely check them out at all the 3 locations: Fort Campbell, Clarksville, and of course, Donaldson. And of course, if you don't have Rick's Comic Book City in your neck of the woods, please support your local comic book store wherever you may find them. Also, if you do not have a comic book store, please check out your local library, as they do have the most up-to-date issues of manga, of comics, and multimedia videos. And even in 2022, you can still check out books, because I know me and my son did not too long ago, because he had a book report, didn't want to tell nobody about it. But that's neither here nor there. But you can still check out books, you can still check out comics, and like I said, support your local comic book stores as well as your local libraries. But as we wrap this up, guys, Joe, anything on the horizon you will let people know about?
Well, I'm downloading PSO Online Reborn, so we'll give that a shot, see if the internet will let me play an MMO while streaming an MMO. Mm-hmm. I love Relayer for the cinematics and the gameplay, but the story just like drains the crap out of me to where I only want to play it like once a month, because I just know what's happening way too much, because I've seen way too much Gundam.
Fair enough. Oh, man.
And we're starting to get to the point where, how do I phrase this? Too much teenage girl and robot.
Fair enough.
This has nothing to do with me hating on them. I like all the characters, but Moe is not really my thing. Mm-hmm. So I am really pushing myself, and I swear to God, if I hear Pluto go, "Oh, are you here for this today?" one more time, I'm just going to delete the game from my PlayStation.
Oh, God.
He's not even a main character. He's the ship's AI who gives himself a teenage boy body.
and
I just can't take that guy.
and just nag the crap out of you.
So we're going to be doing that. If not, we'll be checking out some other games that because now I have the PlayStation Plus Extra, which means I basically have the PlayStation equivalent of Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what I'm downloading. I'm downloaded already the Escape Artist, which is that like psychedelic guitar platformer.
Yeah, I remember that.
And another not quite Mega Man game from Integrates.
My number 9.
Part of the
Mighty number 9.
No, part of the Gunvolt franchise. Gunvolt is actually the perfected Mighty number 9.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah, this is like, I guess the best way to put this is the Mega Man X equivalent to Gunvolt.
Yeah, it's basically the if a Mega Man game.
This game in particular that I'm playing, Azure Gunvolt Chronicle X, is just Mega Man X, but for the Gunvolt franchise, I think.
Oh, okay. Because I remember.
If not, I'll just delete everything and just download like Ys 8 or Ys 9 because that's on there. I don't need to download any of the Yakuzas because I have all of them physically. So.
Okay, well, that's cool. For all those that are wondering, you can definitely catch Joe in his streaming on Twitch at Joe Italian last name. Of course, his YouTube channel at Total Justice Gaming, where you can definitely find him there. You can like, share, and subscribe. Also,
I'm also doing something on there now that you brought that up.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, I will be doing weekly updates shortly with Battle Spirits because I'm still doing that. So thankfully, the very nice guys over at Crossbone Vanguard, the YouTube page, I am on their Discord, and I asked permission. It's like, can I use the weekly spoilers and weekly tournament updates to put out Battle Spirits podcast? So I've dubbed it the Weekly Spirit.
Cool.
After doing some minor work in MS Photo and MS Paint. So I will be doing that right now. The current spoilers are coincidentally the most appropriately themed thing for me because they're going through the new Kamen Rider collaboration set, dealing with Revice and whatnot. Which also the new Kamen Rider starts this week. Kamen Rider Gates, where it's Squid Games, but Kamen Rider. With 2 mainline female writers. And someone called Kamen Rider Zombie Buffalo. So, take that as you will.
This could go either horror, this could go wonderful, or this could go very dark. This can go one of
A and a little bit of B.
This can go either 2 ways. This could be a beautiful series, or this could be very dark.
Well, the little girl says if the game is not played, then the world's going to end. So.
Oh, dear God.
But this Kamen Rider is going to be weird because he has like 10 different forms based on how his belt is configured.
Yeah,
the Desire Driver is like really weird. It's like 1 part Fies Driver, 1 part Excel Driver. It's weird. He's a fusion of a fox and a Japanese fox spirit and a motorcycle.
Yeah, that's one for the weird books. I'll give you that. I would never consider that.
Let me see if I can. Well, it's too late for a trailer.
Yeah,
we'll pop that up next week, and we can show some of the stuff on there because they do have a video that shows all 10 transformations for it. It's a little weird and kind of tedious, but it's interesting.
Just not the Squid Game version. I'm sorry, that's gonna stick with me. Kamen Rider meets Squid Games. That's what it
looks like.
That's gonna stick with me for a little while. It just goes back to the hide seed game. Anyway, now I'm getting beside myself. Thank you, Joe, for that. Of course, find Joe. Joe will tell you last name on Twitch. Total Justice Gaming on YouTube. Of course, shout out to our other friend of ours who was on here who shared. I certainly appreciate that, Vaughn. At BigVZA. You can find him, BigVZA, on all socials. They have the on Facebook and also on TikTok. So definitely check him out there. As far as myself, guys, you can find me BlackBox447 on all socials. Just like, share. I usually give a review of everything I watch, including gym stuff, because I still do a couple push-ups. At the same time, guys, as I say before, I say again, guys, if you have friends, check on them. If you have people you care about, check on them. Make sure they're doing all right. Each of us is fighting a battle that nobody knows about, but at the same time, definitely check up on your people. You'll do a lot more than just saying hi or hello in the terms you might be saving a life. Also at the bottom, guys, you see the link that's showing there. I'm going to make that just a little bit bigger. If you would copy and paste that link into your browser, will take you to our our LinkedIn page. It has the Facebook and YouTube groups for all of our podcasts. How the Frank Got Here, Get Bit, and of course, off of this podcast. Definitely like, share, and grow these pages as we try to get bigger as far as our little side of the world in social media, that is the interwebs. Of course, next week we will be, of course, covering what happens on Disney Day. We will be going over, of course, the what happens on Stargirl as well as She-Hulk and any other news, because, again, we may actually do a short IG piece on Ubisoft Forward since that comes out on Saturday. But we will definitely catch all the news from Disney 23 that happens this upcoming Friday. So with that being said, guys, we will definitely be back here next Friday. Same Get Bit time, same Get Bit channel. Of course, Joe, any last words for you call tonight, sir?
No, I'm good.
I mean, you left me with Common Wider Squid Game. That's just going to stick with me now. That being said, he's been Joe. I've been Will. This has been the Git Bit Podcast for tonight, guys. Thank you all for watching. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we will all get through this. Peace.